What up, YouTube? I've been gone for a minute, but I'm back with some fire. Literally, the Jordan 3 Fire Reds in their OG form. We had a lot of heat drop this year, but for a lot of people, and myself included, this was one of the most anticipated. So hang with me for a few minutes. I'll show you all around these shoes, give you a quick history on the Jordan 3 with some fun facts you might not know, and I'll show you some shots on foot. Okay, let's get started. First, a really quick history. The Jordan 3 originally released all the way back in 1988. It was designed by Nike designer Tinker Hatfield, who was responsible for designing some of the most iconic Jordans. But a little fun fact, the Jordan 3 was actually the first pair of Jordans Tinker ever designed, after the original designer Peter Moore left the company. It's also the first pair of Jordans with the Jumpman on them, and the first pair with the exposed air unit, and that iconic elephant print. At the time, Michael Jordan was toying with the idea to leave Nike for Adidas, but after working with Tinker, seeing the prototypes, and realizing they were actually listening to his feedback, he made the decision to stay with Nike. I can't help but wonder what the sneaker world would look like today if Jordan did leave Nike in the 80s for Adidas. I wonder what the Jordan Adidas would have looked like through the years, and if they would have been as iconic and sought after as they are today. I guess we'll never know, but it's interesting to think about. Anyway, to me, this pair is special because it's one of the original 4 Jordan 3 colorways to ever release. When these originally dropped back in '88, you had the white cement, these fire reds, the true blue, and my personal favorites, the black cement. The 3s were first retroed in 1994, then again in 2001. In 2003, Nike released a bunch of 3s in different colorways, and it was at that time they decided to replace the Nike Air logo on the heel with the Jumpman. For whatever reason, it just didn't hit as hard, and a lot of pairs sat on shelves. They returned again in 2007 with a bunch of new colorways. Then in 2013, they released a version of these fire reds, and that was dope. But instead of the gray elephant panels, they opted for black panels, which to me didn't look nearly as good, and I wasn't really feeling them. But here we are now in 2022, and they finally released a proper pair of OG fire reds, and in my opinion, they look as amazing as they did all those years ago. Now that that's out of the way, let's take a look at these kicks starting with the box. But before we do, please remember to hit that like button and please subscribe if you're feeling the content. You could also hit the notification bell to stay up to date on my latest videos. Thank you, and now back to the kicks. You have the OG style box with the black removable lid and the Jumpman on the top in red and Nike Air logos on the side. Nothing too special, but it does have those OG vibes. The bottom of the box is covered in that iconic elephant print. When you open them up, you see an all red interior and more of that elephant print on the tissue paper. One cool thing they added was this little trifold booklet containing technical specifications of the sneaker. Pretty cool bonus, and I'm a sucker for little touches like this. It's kind of pointless, but I have to admit it does add to the fun of unboxing these. Now let's look at these kicks. This pair retailed for $210 US, and I caught my pair on the Nike Sneakers app. Surprisingly, these were pretty easy to cop, but they took over 2 weeks to ship. I have a sneaking suspicion that they started producing most of these after the drop, so they knew how many to make, because 2 weeks is way too long, and mine smelled like pure glue straight from the factory when they finally got here. Depending on your size, these aren't really reselling for much more than retail. I would have thought people would be going nuts for these, but that doesn't seem to be the case, and while you probably won't see these sitting at your local sneaker store, you can pick up a pair in the aftermarket for very close to retail. For the true fans, that's great, but for the resellers, not so much. Regarding the shoe, the uppers are mostly white and the leather feels pretty good. It would be great if these were made from a synthetic leather, and I hope sneaker companies will start to explore that more. Contrasting with the white, you have gray eye stays with white eyelets toward the middle and red eyelets above and below that. The tongue is mostly gray, but it transitions to white at the top with a red embroidered Jumpman. They come laced with a pair of simple white laces just like they did back in the day, and there are no additional laces in case you're wondering. The rear of the tongue is red, the sock liner is gray, and the insole is red with the Nike Air logo in white. Moving down the shoe, you have the elephant print wrapping around the toe box, and that same panel texture wrapping around the rear. I can't explain why, but I've always liked this elephant print ever since the first time I saw it as a kid. It's so timeless, they use just the right amount, and it looks cool. Working your way around the rear, you'll find a hit of red leather around the ankle, and the best part of this sneaker, that classic hard plastic heel panel in white with the Nike logo in red. Like most people, this is by far my favorite feature on this shoe. I know it's petty, but that Nike logo on the heel and the return of the gray elephant print makes all the difference to me. There's just something about it that looks so dope, and it fills out the area on the heel so much better than the Jumpman. In my opinion, this is the way a pair of Jordan 3s and 4s should always look. Let me know in the comments if any of you disagree. Working your way down the shoe, you have a white and red midsole and that exposed air unit. You also have a small hit of gray rubber from the outsole spilling up the side. This gray hit is great for keeping these looking fresher for longer, as dirt won't be as visible on that. That said, the outsole isn't completely gray. Just like the OG pair, the outsole has hits of gray, white, and a red Nike text logo. That's how it looked in the 80s, and they kept it true to the original pair. Speaking of the original pair, they even brought back this retro orange Nike tag on the left shoe. Back in the day, some people used to leave these on as a fashion choice, and I truly believe this was the inspiration for those orange zip ties you find on off-white sneakers. I'll be taking this off, but it's fun and nostalgic just to see it again. Regarding fit, these fit true to size and they feel good on foot. They make it pretty easy to put a nice fit together, and when you're rocking these, you really don't have to try too hard. A clean t-shirt, a sweatshirt, and a pair of jeans or sweats and you're good. The kicks will speak for themselves. Creasing in the toe box is always an issue, but if you're careful and you wear a pair of force fields, I think you can keep these crisp for a long time. I wouldn't recommend playing ball in these, as sneaker tech has come a long way and there are so many better options these days. In the 80s, these were high-tech basketball kicks, but nowadays, I would consider these strictly for lifestyle, but that's just my opinion. In conclusion, I'm going to keep it real and say I've always been more of a Jordan 4 and Jordan 6 guy, sometimes the 8s, but 3s were never really my bag growing up. That being said, these do look to me like a lot less busy version of the Jordan 4s, and now that I'm getting older, I'm starting to appreciate the cleaner, simpler look of these. I also love the fire red colorway, but my favorite 3s have always been the black cement. With that, these are still a very solid pickup, and you really can't go wrong. Plus, you could pick these up for a relatively reasonable price. Nike and Jordan Brand did a great job with these, and I'm really glad they dropped. They're cool, classic, and if you decide to cop a pair, I do not think you will be disappointed. That's my video on the retro fire red Jordan 3s. I hope you liked it. If you did, please show your support by hitting that like button. Please subscribe, and please ring that notification bell. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at E21Life. I'm always posting random content there. As always, thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, stay safe, everyone. Peace.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my pen ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem damn bad. Gotta keep on chugging, ran through everything in front of me. Might smoke bed in heaven, got a whole agenda. Can't aspire to get ahead, so bump that, it's no surrender. Got a dollar flipped up, I'm trying to get it in FT to get them when they're hand and crypto. Learn how to fix that. I don't really hold out of books, but I'ma learn how to fix that. Some opportunities that never come unless you paying attention, so no, I can't miss that. Moving, MVP, I got the record, I might have to prove something. Big jumper worthy, they gon' have to retire my jersey early. Whole crew coming, had to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket. Yeah, I did all that. Big plans, partners trying to make profits. Yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no wins. Yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen. Putting hours in my practice, I did all that. Yeah, I can't